So if we want to understand the scene, we have to understand that how exactly situation happens in our individual life. The situation happens at our home, at workplace, at railway station, in the traffic, in the jungle, in the sea, anywhere. There are particular activities are happening, particular incidences are happening, and these incidences have a parameters, the parameters of a location and time. If the war is happening, it was happening Second World War for 5 years, First World War was 3-4 years. So that was again a epic. It was a war situation which has 6 to 7 years span of a time. So some activities take a span of 100 years or 1000 years, and some activities takes place in few seconds, few moments of the time. So we need to understand that if some person is driving the car and all of a sudden he breaks down his brakes and there's an accident occurs, so that's one particular situation. One person sitting beneath the tree and he's just drinking a soft drink, that is also a scene. So scene is a particular activity happens in the particular time and space with characters. So characters are there into the particular scene if story requires, or in the story if requires that there is a space and in that space something happens. So this something is what? That something is can be a natural activity, that sea is floating, the waves are floating. You need to understand that what is a span of that particular incident. So if some in particular situation, if it's a chase sequence, so your hero is chasing somebody for getting a person escape from that kidnapping, it means that person will be traveling from one space to another space, so it becomes a sequence. So try to understand the scene difference between scene and sequence. So if your character walks from one particular location to the second or third or fourth or fifth particular location with some cause, so that person traveling in the particular sequence with a continuous time with a changing locations, so it becomes a sequence. Right from, for example, from your home you are traveling to this institute, and in this entire sequence you are traveling in the cab, you are walking somewhere, you are getting into the train, you are getting down on the platform, you are traveling on the bridge, and again you are walking on the footpath, and you are entering in the university gate, and from there you are entering in the class. So it becomes the whole sequence. So if yesterday night you were at your home and having a birthday party with your friends, that was a one particular scene, and today if you are sitting with me and trying to understand the process of screenplay, this is another scene. It's a different scene because we are there in a particular time and space. So try to understand that the structure of the scenes is based on your understanding of situations, your scenes. So scene is a most important element in the construction of your screenplay, your structure. We have to understand the important aspects in script development and the concept development, and for these things we need to understand that how a real life is very inspiration for adaptation of the original screenplay. So what we have to understand the difference between the original screenplay and adopted screenplay. So if somebody is having a original novel, it's a bestseller novel or fantastic novel, and the particular writer or a particular filmmaker wants to make the film on that particular subject or on the book or the novel, then scriptwriter has to adopt the screenplay from that novel, because as it is, you cannot start a shooting with that novel, because ultimately as a scriptwriter you will have to find the cinematic material, the visual material that can be portrayed on the screen, particularly from that novel. So when somebody is adopting the original screenplay from the novel, it means that novel has to scrutinize into the visual experiences. So if there are pages, 100 pages or 1000 pages or 500 pages, so not all 500 pages can be converted into the screenplay, because there can be a lot of description, lot of imagination, lot of various scenes and situations that can be dragging to the story. So scriptwriter has to find out the exact scenes and situation which can be picturized, which can be materialized into the structure of the film, and only that material has to be extracted from that novel. So if scriptwriter finds a structure that out of 500 pages scriptwriter may find only 100 scenes and situations, for example, and that 100 scenes and situation can be converted into the scenes. So each scene has its own space and timing. So space is a particular location, interior or exterior or day or a night, and that particular locations, there can be a series of the locations which is connected to your main story, and ultimately your main story should be built up with a certain logic. From beginning till the end, there can be n numbers of situations and scenes and sequences, but cinematically you should able to connect it with a effective logic. So logic is very important aspect in screenplay development. So now we'll try to understand what is the importance of the logic. See, first thing is we'll have to understand why people go to cinema hall for watching the movies. So ultimately, if you know the reason that why people are going to watch the film in the movie, it means there must be some logic, there must be some reason that why people go to watch the cinema. And that's why it's very important to understand the importance of the logic.